You know that moment when you hang up after scheduling an interview and you feel pumped for about 5 seconds? Then your brain starts replaying every possible way you could mess it up? Yeah, that. Because most people don't lose interviews because they're unqualified. They lose them because they accidentally say something that makes the room go quiet. Not because it's wrong, but because it makes the interviewer think, risk. And that's what an interview really is. It's not just a skills test, it's a risk check. They're trying to picture you on the team and asking themselves, is this person going to make life easier, or am I about to inherit a problem? So I'm going to walk you through 10 things you should avoid revealing in a job interview. Not because you should be fake, and not because you should lie, just because you should be smart about what you share, when you share it, and how you frame it. Quick note before we start, this is general interview advice, not legal advice or personalized career counseling. Every situation's different, so use your judgment and do your own research for your specific case. All right, let's get into it. First one is the biggest accidental self-sabotage move I see. Avoid oversharing personal information. I'm not saying you have to be a robot. A little human connection is good. But when you start unloading personal details because you're nervous, you can accidentally send two signals you don't want to send. One, that you don't have good boundaries. Two, that you can't be concise. Think about it like this. In a real work meeting, people want the headline, the key points, and the next step. If your interview answers turn into a 5-minute story with 10 side quests, the interviewer starts wondering what you're like in meetings with clients, executives, or teammates who are on a deadline. A simple way to keep yourself tight is give the situation, what you did, and the result. Then stop. If they want the behind-the-scenes details, they'll ask. Most people don't lose interviews because they're not interesting enough. They lose because they accidentally overwhelm the room. Second, don't reveal the raw emotional version of why you're leaving your current job. This is where people get themselves in trouble because they're relieved to finally say it out loud. My boss is awful. The place is toxic. I'm bored out of my mind. I can't stand the politics. I get it. But interviewers often translate that into, this person might be difficult, or they might complain, or are they going to say this about us next? You don't need to lie. You just need to package it in a way that sounds professional and forward-looking. Focus on what you want to move toward, not what you're running away from. Here's an example that works in a lot of situations. I learned a lot in my current role, but I'm ready for a new challenge where I can do more of X and take ownership of Y. That sentence sounds calm, mature, and forward-facing, even if your current job is a dumpster fire. Third one, don't reveal that you're planning to switch careers soon, or that this job is basically a temporary pit stop while you start a business. Interviewers love ambition. What they don't love is hiring someone who just told them, I'm not going to be here long and I'm not really committed to this type of work. If they ask the 5 years question, they're not looking for a perfect prediction. They're looking for commitment to the lane they're hiring for. So if you do want to build something on the side someday, keep your interview answer anchored to the role you're applying for. Something like, I want to deepen my skills in X, take on more ownership, and grow into a bigger scope. You can even add, I'm excited about a path where I can keep leveling up here. You're not signing your soul away. You're just not handing them a reason to pass. Fourth, don't reveal that you're desperate and you need a job immediately. If you're out of work, you might feel like you're in survival mode. Bills, rent, food, everything, and your brain wants to blurt out, I need this job. But in an interview, urgency can read like volatility. Like, this person might take the first offer and bounce. Or they might accept something they don't actually want, then be unhappy. So keep your internal urgency internal. On the outside, you want calm energy, interested, not frantic, confident, not pleading. A simple line that helps is, I'm being intentional about my next move. This role stood out because it keeps your posture strong without being weird about it. And if you're worried your nerves show, practice your first 2 answers out loud until they feel boring. Boring is good. Boring reads as stable. Boring. Fifth, be careful about revealing your age or anything that hints at how close you are to retirement. I wish this wasn't a thing, but it can be. And it's not always about you saying your age directly. It can be implied through your resume, your email address, or random details you casually drop. If you've got graduation dates from the 90s on your resume, or your email is something like John 1971 heir, you're basically putting a neon sign on information they shouldn't be thinking about at all. And try not to joke about retirement. Even something like, I just want my last stop, can create a bias even if the interviewer smiles and nods. They might still go home and think, are we going to hire someone who's checked out? You want them focused on your skills, your results, and your fit, not how old they think you might be or how long they assume you'll stick around. Sixth, avoid revealing major medical issues, pregnancy details, or disabilities in the interview unless it directly affects your ability to do the job or you need a reasonable accommodation for the interview itself. Most roles have a simple question baked into the process. Can you perform the essential functions of the job with or without reasonable accommodation? That's the lane. Stay in that lane. If you start describing diagnoses, treatments, surgeries, or anything like that, you're giving the interviewer information they don't need at that stage, and it can create bias, even if they don't mean to. If you do need an accommodation for the interview, keep it clean and practical. I'll need X to participate fully. Period. No long explanation required, and you don't owe anybody your medical history to be treated fairly. Seventh, don't bring up politics. Even if you think you're aligned with the company, even if you think you're on the same side as the hiring manager, you don't actually know. Politics can flip a room's energy instantly. There's basically no upside. You're not getting hired because you have the right opinions. You're getting hired because you can solve problems and work well with people. So keep it neutral, keep it professional, save politics for literally anywhere else. Eighth, don't reveal your previous salary. This usually comes up in the recruiter screen, and people answer too quickly because it feels like a normal question. But your old salary might have nothing to do with what you should be paid now. You might have been underpaid or overpaid for a weird niche situation. Either way, anchoring the conversation to your past can trap you. What you want is to keep the focus on the role's range and the market value. If they ask, "What are you making now?" a safer way to respond is, "I'd like to focus on the role's budget and total compensation range. Based on the responsibilities and market rates, I'm targeting something in the range of X to Y." Then you give a range you can live with. If they push, you can stay calm and repeat it. Recruiters hear this all the time. The people who get in trouble are the ones who blurt out a number, then realize too late they just negotiated against themselves. Ninth, don't reveal unstable logistics or life chaos details unless they're directly relevant and you're presenting a clear plan. This is the stuff people say casually. "I'm figuring out childcare right now. My schedule is kind of all over the place. I'm not sure if I can do mornings. I travel a lot. I'm trying to move soon, but I don't know when." Again, it's not that you're a bad person, it's that hiring managers hear uncertainty, and uncertainty makes them nervous. If scheduling or location is relevant, talk in solutions. "I'm available during these hours. I've handled the logistics for commuting. I can be on site on these days." Calm, grounded, practical. And 10th, don't reveal unfiltered you in the form of trash talk, venting, or scorched earth stories. If you spend 5 minutes explaining how your last company was full of idiots, your boss was a clown, your coworkers were lazy, and nobody appreciated you, the interviewer only has one question left in their head. Is this what they'll say about us later? Even if you were right, you can't win that conversation in an interview. A better move is to describe the situation like a grown-up business problem, then pivot to what you learned and what you want next. "I learned I thrive with clear priorities. I learned I do my best work with direct communication. I'm looking for a team that values ownership." That kind of language keeps you credible. Now, after all that, you might be thinking, okay, so what am I allowed to say? Plenty. Talk about your results, talk about your skills, talk about how you think, talk about how you handle messy situations, talk about what you're excited to build, fix, improve, or own. And here's a quick gut check you can use right before you answer any question. Does this help them picture me doing the job? If yes, say it. If no, park it. One last mindset that helps a lot. The interview is not a confession booth. It's a business conversation. Your job is to make it easy for them to say yes. If this helped you, like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.